was planning on this being a first washing 20 years video. I'm also introducing this project vehicle to the channel. As you can see, it's buried deep in the woods and we've got our work cut out for us. So, watch along. Alright, what you're looking at here is my project for No Name Nationals. You may not be able to see it yet. That is a 1989 Toyota Supra. Well, right now, it's been parked for, I don't know, 15, 20 years. We're going to try to fish it out of these weeds and get it over to the property this weekend, so I can put together a list of what's left that it needs, or if I can even salvage it. Wish me luck. Here we go. Dad's coming with the tractor and some chainsaws so we can get this thing out of here. First things first, I'll make a path there to get to the door, and then we'll clear a path behind it so we can tow it out.
2 hours later.
As you can see, we've dug the car out of the trees a bit. We've towed it back with the chains here with the tractor. Now I can actually get to the tires and see about airing them up. See if that'll help it roll better. All right, we'll get to the front tire and air it up. There we go. See, we've already unburied the car. It was, the trees had grown in around it. We're going to get this pulled out into the middle part of the yard and then get it loaded up onto a trailer and get it back over to the homestead so we can start working on it, cleaning it, inventory what's here, what's not here, what needs to be done, what I want to get done, what has to get done.
circuit breaker, see how close I can get. Because I have to get over the other side of the trailer. Right there. Hold it there for a while. Hold it right there. I'll look at the ramp. What happened? It won't jump that ramp. It's pulling the side by side sideways. I'm not moving the car's moving it.
Okay. We're at the point where the resistance going up that ramp. Tractor? What, the anchor the side by side? As I can down that ramp. Park brakes off.
My winch is off.
Gotta have that motor running, huh? What if you anchor that with the tractor? Anchor your quad.
I was thinking what would happen if I get over there. Would that be a straighter pull?
With the redirect, we got that straightening it out. We pulling straight down the middle of the trailer.
Let me
But
move this, and we'll have tractor.
All right. Oh wow, it's on top of the blocks.
Yeah, it jumped up block.
I was seeing it go up in the air, but I didn't know it was doing that.
I was watching the car because it's rolling.
Yeah. Well, we'll get there. After many tries, what y'all missed was this winching itself over the stop blocks we put in front of it. Oh, editing, yes. We're gonna have some editing to do. All right, let's try it again.
Right there, hold it. NASCAR shows it easy. They jump in, jump out.
I'm not as young as those guys. That ain't going nowhere. Here it is, the Mark III Toyota Supra. I did some tree cutting, not on film, but I had to cut it out of the woods and tow it out, get it onto this trailer, and here it is on my property. We're gonna probably start by cleaning this thing, get it pressure washed, get all the dirt and junk off there. It's been sitting for about 18 years. Tags on it say 2007. That was right before my last deployment. I towed this from where I was working at in the military over to my mom and dad's property, and it's been sitting there ever since. So here it is. We're going to clean it up, and I'm going to go through this car and determine what's left, what's fixed, what's fixable, what parts I need. I know I needed probably an aftermarket standalone ECU. The forward-facing intake manifold that I put on it prevents the hood from shutting all the way. So got to decide whether I'm going to cut that back down or just cut a hole in the hood. Probably leaning towards the latter, just because I'm trying to get this thing on the road as quick and cheap as possible. And I don't see a whole lot of value in maintaining that hood in factory form when just a simple cutout, let the hood shut, and have a little bit of exposed intake tube, no big deal. I don't know. I might change my mind about that and cut that intake manifold and re-weld it to where the hood closed. Other than that, the car has probably 2 sets of interior. It already has a lot of the gray interior from one of my previous Toyota Supras. What you don't know about me in this channel is I've had 3 of these cars, this being the 3rd one. I had 2 over in Germany. So I've got the best parts of all 3 of them to combine into this car. So stay tuned, this is the next project car, and the rest of this video will be me cleaning this thing up.
In a previous episode, we dragged the Supra out of the woods at my dad's farm and then loaded it on a trailer. So let's get this thing washed already.
I know it's trying to rain, but I think it needs a little bit more water than just rain to clean it off. We have to come up with a way of rolling the window up while it's still on the trailer, and still be able to roll the window back down so I can get it off the trailer later. But this wasn't me. And connect the garden hose, we'll have it. All right, here we go. In the event that you have a vehicle that has electric windows that aren't rolling up and down, you can isolate just the wires that go to the window motor. And in this case, it's the green wire and the red wire. I'm going to connect some cables to it and run those cables out the door, because I can open and close the door a little bit, but I can't open and close the door all the way because it's on a trailer right now. But I want to be able to roll the windows up so I can, 1, wash the car, and 2, it's about to start raining, and I need a way to be able to roll the window back down later so I can get back in the car to get it off the trailer. So I'm just going to connect these wires to those and run the wires probably through that hole in the floorboard. All right, later. All right, so I've just picked whatever random battery I had laying around, and I'm going to hit. Okay. That was it. Oh, I guess we're going the wrong way. And now the window's up, so now I can pressure wash the car. All right, I don't know if you can hear that, but it is attempting to rain. We're still going to wash this car because it needs washed really badly, and we've used a drill battery and some speaker wire to be able to roll that electric window back up, because we couldn't get it to roll up or down earlier, and that's how I got it down. It was a dad's drill battery. Now I've got a drill battery here, and we're going to go ahead and maybe relocate the camera, but we're going to wash this thing in the rain. yourself even, why am I working on this particular project as my next project? Had a new engine in it when I parked it, and it just needed electronics to be able to make that engine run properly. And that being said, I don't know what's going to be left of the new engine because it's been sitting for about 18 years. The good news is it's got a lot of intercooler ducting that may have shielded the engine from getting as much humidity and stuff through it. I mean, the air would have to go through the intake, through the turbo, through the entire intake ducting, through the intake manifold, all, you know, and then same with the exhaust. I mean, so it's got full exhaust and full everything hooked up. So fingers crossed. Hopefully by the time I get to the engine inspection, we're going to have good news and not bad news. I do remember it having stainless steel valves and things like that. Had fresh pistons and rings that weren't even seated. There's still break-in oil in the engine. Haven't pulled the dipstick yet, so I'm hoping I didn't put water in the radiator or drain the water out of the radiator before storing it, or maybe even had antifreeze. I do not know. Next up, I've been washing it already, trying to get the big goo and gunk off of it, because it was parked under some pine trees, a lot of pine needles everywhere. I'm going to actually get a leaf blower up in there, or a bench blower, and try to blow some of the leaves off before I try to pressure wash under the hood. And then, nice surprise for you guys, I did a lot of powder coating back then, so it's not looking fantastic in some places, but we'll see what's left of the engine. If you haven't seen the previous episode, we dig this car out of the woods, and this is the first clip where I start inspecting it. Alright, we've made it to the car. Seats look approximately like they did back when I parked it. Floorboards are pretty decent. Not seeing any rust. I got gauge cluster there. 2 gauge clusters back here. It's a time capsule. Some tow chains. We'll keep raking pine needles off. I think our cowl might be our biggest issue, hopefully not. Alright, I've had a day or two. I've had a chance to clean up the car. I haven't really gone through the car yet. We're going to do that here in a little bit. But I have gone back to, I've got a storage connex at my parents' property where the car was stored at. And I've been able to find quite a few parts. I've already put the gray interior seats in there. They're in better shape than the seats that came with this car. I've owned 2 other Supras prior to this one. So I've already got a collection of the best parts from each car. Got the interior door panels. I've got both front seats and rear seats, I believe, are all available. There's a console that came out of this car. There's a lot of parts the guy painted. Not even with interior dye, he just painted them black. I've got a console. I've got a lot of the lights and trim that's in better shape than the trim currently on the car. So there's a clear rubber on that trim, and this only has a smaller strip of the clear rubber. And this hasn't been exposed to daylight in the last 18 years. It's been stored in that box. So, as you can see, this is in rough shape. Hopefully I have the whole set of trim. But I've got a good chunk of the trim between this box and several of the other boxes here. I also have the non-turbo distributor, also a spare thermostat housing on these cars. They're prior to OBD computer, so there's 3 water temperature sensors on this side of the thermostat, and an additional 2 on that side of the thermostat, as well as there's ports for water to flow through, and then a water temperature actuated I guess vacuum or boost controller there. It's quite a mess. This is just a spare. There's already one on this engine. Not sure what setup I used there, but I'm pretty sure at this point I would prefer to replace each of the sensors. Not going to use the factory ECU most likely, because this is prior to OBD, and there's some aftermarket ECUs you could plug into there and still tune them, but I'm thinking it's probably, I was already aiming to put a Mega Squirt or some sort of standalone ECU to operate this engine. I even contemplated converting it to propane and run it on propane. What else we have in the goodie box here? This would be the Japanese spec taillight lenses, and somewhere I even have the middle panel that it would actually serve to be for the license plate. I believe these take up more of the room and narrow, or do something different with the license plate panel. I think what I would have to do is probably, because I still need to use a US license plate, I would probably have to make a custom panel in the middle to hold the US license plate. Old Army towels. So some of this stuff is not going to go in the car or on the car right away. I just don't deem it necessary to get the car running and driving, especially for, say, like the No Name Nationals. But I do have the parts. So we'll set that aside. I haven't opened this box, and I haven't opened it, so I don't know what's in it, other than it says it's a console and interior parts. Oh, that is a complete console. Came out of a very nice condition Supra that I had in Germany. Alright, so this is the dash piece where your gauge cluster would go. We'll set that aside. And that is a complete console. It's got your driver's side seat controls as well as the mirror controls. That's flaking a little bit. We'll set that there for now. And okay, this is the bulb assembly probably for those taillights. So we'll set that aside. And a little bit of air that's been contained for probably since I shipped this stuff from overseas, because these parts came from a car in Germany. So this is in pretty good shape compared to the other one even. We'll stick that together. And there we go. I've already talked about the door panels. It has a gauge cluster in the dash. There's a secondary gauge cluster. Corner trim. It even says 3.0 turbo Toyota Supra. I believe that's off the gray Supra from Germany. Oh, we have a lightweight aluminum flywheel. Still the box. It's never been installed. We'll set that aside. I'm thinking this is the trim that goes below the glove box on the passenger side. Alright. And this is another gauge cluster that has been converted to an Indiglo. Instead of being black, there's an Indiglo face that goes on, that you put on there first. And it looks like I even printed some custom logos there. It needs wiped down and cleaned up a little bit. These cars, that's part of the Indiglo system. These cars were kind of a luxury sports car at their time. So they have a lot of extra features. Powered seats for the driver. What's another feature? I really liked the AC controller. You could actually set the temperature you wanted, and the AC controller would provide you that temperature blowing out of the dash. And what really drives me crazy is some of the work trucks I get these days. You just have a knob and it doesn't, you know, it might cool down, it might heat up, whatever. It just kind of goes wherever it wants to. With this car, it actually set the temperature, and this was 1989. So it drives me crazy when a modern automaker doesn't give you the same controls that we got in a nice car in 1989. So, you know, you be the judge there, but kind of drives me crazy. Some 10mm black copper cabling. 2.5, I guess. Some sort of exhaust pipe. You know what? This wasn't exhaust pipe. I was using it for intercooler piping. I did do a whole bunch of plumbing there. I think from the turbo back is all 3-inch stainless, or mostly stainless. That's probably literally an ashtray. Some struts, I believe those go to the rear hatch. Hopefully they're in better shape than the ones on the rear hatch, but right now I haven't been able to open the rear hatch yet. Some reason the cable here is not releasing it, and the key from the ignition is not releasing it. So maybe I have another Toyota key that will fit it, I don't know. Or maybe we'll have to clean everything out and crawl through and see if we can release it from the inside. So let's keep digging, see what else we got. Some floor mats. Well, say floor mat, this one's got a pocket in it. Okay. That looks to be the rear floor mat, and it does have a pocket. That's kind of neat. I don't know what that's for. That would be a front floor mat. Front floor mat. Another rear floor mat. Not in real fantastic shape, but this would be, I guess, the back or tool bag. A jack bag or tool bag for the car. Like I said, not in real fantastic shape. Let's go inside. We do have a 4-way lug wrench, a normal wrench. I don't know if this is ducting for under the hood or ducting for maybe the AC in front, in the car. This is a jack that goes for a pinch weld, and maybe for this car, I don't know. Appears to be in good shape. We'll set that aside. Don't need that to go fast. We might need that to get the tires changed out. Alright, that battery tied in. Maybe part of the steering column. Okay, here's an additional harness for the mirror control. I don't know which vehicle this came from. I don't know if it came from this one or not. Got a boost gauge, mechanical boost gauge, I believe. No? Yeah, this is mechanical. You would just hook a hose to it. And it's power, so it would light up and stuff. I'm sure it's Indiglo as well. Indiglo was quite popular at the time. Alright. Clutch tool. Some sort of kind of an LED or fluorescent light. They're little bitty guys. There's a switch and a controller. We'll set that aside. Probably won't be installing it. You know, the little phrase that can tell you what it is, but I didn't have to kill you. Not quite that extreme, but it doesn't belong to this car. It might belong to an aircraft. we have a really rough shape K&N style air cleaner and an adapter so it can go to, I don't even think it was a mass airflow sensor, it's whatever airflow sensor that the Supras used at the time. I'll have to look it up, or maybe you guys can look it up and correct me in the comments. Okay, I think this is the passenger side kick panel, maybe. Looks like it goes in the door jamb, and then your, as a passenger side, that'd be your right foot would go there. I don't know. Again, it's black. I don't know if it's to this car or to a different car. May have been gray at one time. Black's not too bad. Black and gray I think will still go together as I can put this car back together with whatever pieces I have left. Like I said, there was a lot of black parts that came with the car. He painted some parts black. I didn't care for that. He did a really shitty job. He did a really interesting job with the dash, which was already cracked. He took the same material that he made the headliner, some sort of really super fuzzy stuff, and glued that to the dash. I think I'd rather clean it, sand it down, body fill it, lay some fiberglass or something else over it, and, you know, make it at least a proper fiberglass piece, because I know how to work with fiberglass. But anyway, let's keep digging in here and see what else we have. Hemp rope has no use to me either way. Alright, this is kind of a 50-50. This would probably be the passenger side of the rear seat. The seat pad, the base of it's sitting in here pretty nicely. Okay, this panel looks like it goes back there next to the back seats. Again, this part's painted, it was originally gray. I don't know why somebody would take something gray and paint it black, especially with spray paint and not interior dye, but just black spray paint. So, not happy about that. Trying to get to the part where I can get to the open the back. All right, this appears to be for the front grille, and these are the doors, door panel trim. I believe that part's just a glue or adhesive. They're kind of misshapen from where they've been sitting. But I think once you glue them to the door, they'll be flattened out. Alright, these aren't in fantastic shape. Okay, those are rust stains from these laying on each other. I think those are the equivalent to the door card inserts, but for the back panels back here. Again, may or may not get used. The other ones are black. The other ones were a vinyl instead of the velour. These would need some deep cleaning before we can use them anyway. Oh boy. Storage has not been good to this. This is the driver's side rear upright for the seat. And maybe we can, yeah, we might be able to vacuum that clean, because those pieces were sitting on it. So, in the event we use a rear seat, we'll clean that up. Okay, I believe this is the panel that goes below the steering column. Maybe heater ducting, and this is one of the few things I'm seeing potential rodent damage. This is the speaker cover for the driver's side door. This is the surround for the dash, and this is the glove box. I actually have a glove box that's in gray, probably approximately the same condition, or maybe better. Let's set that aside. So a lot of these parts, interior parts right now, I'm actually going to be putting them in my shop, more storage unit. Setting aside, because right now I don't need to worry about the interior, I don't need to worry about the engine, but we're shoveling stuff out of the car. I feel that maybe storing the stuff there might be better than storing it in the hot sun in the car. Some of the parts have already suffered their damage, but we'll get them out of the sun and put them inside. Okay. I believe that's stainless tubing, and it says 2.5, so that's 2.5-inch stainless tubing. This appears to be another one of the dash pieces. This is broken. We already discovered we have another one there, so we'll probably just throw that in the way. Okay, here's an interesting piece. Appears I have not attempted to even use it. That would be stainless cover for this piece. Stainless face for that. So, interesting. From Speed Hut. Oh, goodness. This bears the name of the guy that I bought my first Supra from. So I didn't order this part, he did. I believe he also did the Indiglo piece there, but I liked that enough to use it. I think this is one of the back pieces there where you'd stow the jack in the back trunk area. And we're digging into the trunk area because I'm trying to actually make access to where I can see about opening the rear hatch. Alright, another ashtray. We got 2 there. Okay, we found some more rodent damage. Alright, here's some sun visors. Those look like they could be cleaned. And I think rear quarter trim back here, driver's side. And okay, this would be driver's side door handle slash switches, and it does have some rodent damage. We also have problems. We couldn't get the window to roll down previously with the black door handle, so we might be stealing the switches out of there. I don't know. We'll see what we can do to salvage this thing. All right. There's some drilled and slotted rotors. I believe they're the rears. Some other trim pieces in a box back there with probably some camshafts in it, and it does have some rodent damage. We're going to go ahead and stop the camera for now and see about getting the trunk open. Alright, got an aftermarket, we'll say new eBay turbo. It's been ceramic coated, but you can see it's not looking so great now. Aftermarket turbo manifold, powder coated the valve covers, forward facing intake manifold. Yeah, everything that looked nice doesn't look so nice now. Alright, been waiting a couple weeks to get back to this car so I can have access to it. Want to kind of figure out if this engine's going to be a viable engine that was freshly rebuilt when I parked it. It's been sitting for about 18 years, and I have no clue what's left of it. First thing I'm going to do, I'm already standing on this side of the car. Pull the dipstick, and we do not have a milkshake. Got a medium dark oil. Smells a little like gas. But again, it hasn't been run in a very, very long time. In fact, the gas in the tank smells like varnish. You can actually smell it from that side of the car when you're back there. So we don't have a milkshake. That's step one. I do note that there's some connections missing. We don't have anything hooked up to the airflow sensor. I don't know what kind of sensor that is. It's previous to the mass airflow sensors. This one's actually known to be highly restrictive, but when we change over to a standalone ECU, we'll probably change that out for something a bit less restrictive, a little bit more modern. Also, we'll probably run a wideband O2 sensor in the exhaust. I'm looking at, yeah, definitely we've had some rodent bites to the plug wires. We've got some vents here, and an additional vent here that's not capped. So anyway, again, we don't have a milkshake in the oil. That's the first step. What we're going to do next is put some water in the radiator. I don't remember if I drained the radiator and coolant or not. I know in our family we have a habit of get it running first before we put coolant in, so we'll run water. And so what I may have done is I may have had water in it. But when I parked it, I'm hoping I had the common sense to drain the water back out. So I'm going to put water in the radiator and see if we have a hole in the block or a crack in the block from freezing it. So that's our next step. And then maybe I'll be able to get a battery in here and see if it'll turn over. I know I probably pulled the ECU out. I did have a automatic transmission ECU in here, wired up with it put in park, and it ran but didn't run well. So again, I was planning on doing an aftermarket ECU back then, or a standalone ECU. So I may have ripped that out because I do see another harness in here that would have been for that standalone ECU I was planning on using at the time. Yes, there it is. Looks like I pre-wired to the injectors. So that I just figured out just now. So yeah, I'll pause the camera, come back, get some water in the radiator, see if we got a cracked block or not. I know I said I wanted to run this No Name Nationals. I'm running out of time, and I definitely don't have the money to get those parts that I need. But the previous, look, I even this wire. This was a turbo supply oil coming from the side of the block. I've capped this off. I actually robbed that piece off, and it's probably on that gray Toyota back there. So I needed whatever dash, probably 3 A&N fitting that goes to a turbo, and it got used on a different vehicle. And now that I poked a hole in that duct tape, I need to retape that. So yeah, I'm definitely not even going to try turning it over tonight, which sorely disappoints me at this time. I really wanted to see at least turn it over. I know it's not going to run because I don't have proper fuel in the tank, but I wanted to get some fresh footage of the car. So let's continue on. We'll put some water in the radiator because we're in midsummer here in Texas. I don't have to worry about it freezing anytime soon. If anything, I'll just drain that water back out. That took a lot less water than I expected, but we are seeing it kind of go down. That might be a bad sign. Of course, there just might be major air bubbles in the system. Seems to be holding water. I'm not seeing any water going anywhere. Last time I tried to fill up an engine that had been sitting for a while, and water was leaking between the back of the engine block and the transmission. I inspected it later. We found out the back of the block was cracked, right below the cylinder head. I do recall this system being difficult to burp the air out of. Kind of like a BMW where some of the parts were above the radiator. Well, in this case, it just collects air. It has to burp on its own. Doing a lot better. A little bit more. I'm not really worried about scratching the paint on this car. It's already been sitting in the woods for almost 20 years, 18. Okay. I can attribute that to it has to get around the thermostat one way or the other. We're getting there. I'm not seeing it. Didn't see any leaks onto the ground. I'll bring the camera over here in just a moment. Man, those mosquitoes are bad. I think that's where it's going to level off. Alright, it's pretty close to the top of the filler neck of the radiator, and I'm sure if I squeeze, get a few more air bubbles out, but that's me squeezing air out, not it leaking onto the ground. So we might have a viable engine block. Pretty happy with that. I thought I had a good battery here today, and I went to put it on charge to top it off, and the charger says I need to connect a battery to it, and there was already a battery connected. So, and I forgot to bring one of my other batteries that's a known good battery from where I was working on the yellow truck in Kansas with me. So I don't have a good battery with me to even try turning it over. Like I said, I'm going to be needing an oil turbo inlet that goes here from this oil line. I imagine this oil line's still good. It may not be pretty, but it's still good. Turbo, same thing. It may not be pretty. Sure, it's still good. We just need an oil inlet for the turbo, oil feed. Valve covers were powder coated, previously polished, then powder coated, and this is what we get after sitting for 18 years in the woods. So I'm sorry I didn't take this car back as a project when I got back from my last deployment. Of course, I'd have probably broken it 10 more times between then and now. Or let's be honest, probably 20 more times in 18 years. But it's what we have. It's what we have to work on. Apparently, it was a YouTube sensation when I posted the original videos of yanking this thing out of the woods. It was buried deep into the woods. The trees and plant life had grown in around it. You can see the cowl there. That suffered the most rust out of any panel on the vehicle. Somebody put a cheap Mako paint job on it before I bought it. And so we have body filler and paint flaking off the hood. Hoods are cheap enough, easy enough to get. I think I could just replace the whole hood if I needed to. So for the current time being, when I do get it up and running, I'll just cut a hole in the hood, make this intake fit. It's a forward-facing intake manifold with a larger diameter Infinity Q45 throttle body on there. Something's not right about this part. Maybe the sensor is a different type of sensor. I had a game plan of probably grafting another piece into there, the Toyota piece, but I figure maybe even the sensor, it's the piece here is probably just bad. And then as we adapt and put an aftermarket ECU on there, we'll just get a known good sensor, replace that. Same over here. We got 2 thermocouplers on this side of the just said it, thermostat. We got 1 and 2 more on the other side, and other stuff going on here. Way too much stuff going on. Yes, smart. Use one for the gauge on the dash. That's pretty much what I've discovered. There's always a second redundant sensor, one for the gauge on the dash, the other for the ECU. Kind of going to help me out when it comes to putting an aftermarket standalone ECU in here. So we're going to go with that. I just need to get the funds together and start collecting parts for it. I didn't want to start buying parts until I knew or had a better idea of what I have here, if it's worth saving. We still have water there, so we didn't crack the block. We don't have any rusted out freeze plugs, that kind of stuff. Things under the hood may not be as shiny and pretty as it was when I parked it, but I think most of the stuff will be in viable condition, with the exception of stuff I plan on replacing, you know, obviously plugs and plug wires. You know, we'll probably put a cover over the turbo anyway. And oh, look how small that turbo is. You know, they're running bigger turbos on everything now. So we might upgrade the turbo eventually. We'll get it running and driving first, and then we'll start worrying about performance upgrades. Another thing we're going to need, obviously, these tires have been sitting for 18 years. That tire's completely won't even hold air. Putting the front bumper skin back on, that kind of stuff. Windshield, I think I could put Lexan on there to make it track legal, or some sort of aftermarket not glass to cover between me and the track. And a lot of that stuff in the car doesn't even need to be in there to go down the track. We have good factory seat belts that are there, so we've got that going for us. Factory floor pans are in good enough shape. We got that going for us compared to a lot of vehicles I know that I would otherwise be working on to go to the No Name Nationals. We at least have a whole body. Nothing's rusted out too far gone that I can't drive it. And we got seat belts, that kind of stuff. Maybe I'll try to get some video footage of draining the gas tank soon. Like I said, I planned on putting a battery in it, and I was actually going to disconnect the fuel line to pump the gas, or whatever's left of the gas, we'll call it gas, out of the tank and get fresh fuel into the tank, or make room for fresh fuel in the tank. We don't have a good battery for that right now, so we're going to have to skip over that step of the project at this time. If anybody doubts, there's the last time this vehicle was registered and inspected. In Texas, you have a separate registration and inspection sticker, or at least we did back then. So I do have different wheels for this car. They're a 5-spoke wheel. I like those better than these turbo wheels. And if you're a Supra collector and you want those wheels, let me know. They're up for grabs for a nominal fee to get them out from under my possession. Anyway, that's what we got for now.